Hey, this is Mark Henry, author of Dancing with Energy, Healing, Magic, and Mysticism, here to talk to you more about the occult and the paranormal. And I know it's been a while since the last time I saw you, so I kind of want to get back into the routine of things. So the title of today's video is Did Magic Break the Curse of the New Orleans Saints? Another way of saying it, did magic help the Saints win their first playoff game? So just as an introduction, when you think of New Orleans, you think of the French Quarter, you think of Bourbon Street, you think of Mardi Gras, and you might even think of voodoo. The particular style of voodoo that came into New Orleans came from West African slaves in the 18th century. And some of these beliefs kind of got syncretized into the local area and became part of that local culture. So, onto the New Orleans Saints. As you probably already know, the New Orleans Saints is a professional football team in the NFL, founded in 1967 on November 1st. All Saints Day, that's how they got the name, the Saints. The people of New Orleans had high hopes and dreams to have a successful football team. Alas, this was not the case for quite a long time. A lot of the fans became angry and depressed. It took more than 3 decades for them to actually see anything positive regarding their team. Some even got so frustrated that they would attend games with a paper bag over their head with the eyes cut out, and it said the Aints. However, 33 years after 1967, things started to turn around. And how'd they turn around? Well, Tom Benson, the former owner, or the owner of the Saints, grew up in the 7th Ward of New Orleans, an area where they had a lot of superstition. They had talk of ghosts, they had talk of magic and all the different types of folk beliefs. So he grew up thinking about these things, and he decided that when he kind of inherited the team that, hey, I'm going to go all out, I'm going to have to change this one way or another. Maybe there is a curse on this team. People were talking in town about some of the older people at the Superdome, which is the place where the Saints were performing their games, saying that that was built on an old cemetery and that these are restless spirits that are angry and are wreaking havoc and causing bad things to happen to the Saints. They just can't seem to get a break. There are a lot of fumbles and a lot of these really strange things going on that were puzzling people at that time. Why can't they win? So Tom wanted to completely change that. So what he did was he employed a Voodoo Priestess, the Voodoo Priestess of New Orleans, to come and do some magic. So she went to the Superdome field. She blessed the field. She brought her Voodoo Macamba dance troupe, her ensemble, and they danced and they did rituals. And after that, she left. She went to Our Lady of Guadalupe Chapel, which, if you remember correctly from one of my earlier videos, that is where the Saint Expedite statue is. So who knows? Maybe she said a few words to Saint Expedite for a quick win for the Saints. So she said her prayers to Mary. She left and did some more work at her private altar, offerings to her ancestors and whatnot. And then finally, she went to St. Louis Cemetery number 1, to the grave of the most famous voodoo queen in New Orleans, Marie Laveau. And she left offerings and candles and beseeched her intervention with the New Orleans Saints, since that was all their city. So what happened? Well, what happened was kind of surprising to everybody. The Saints were doing pretty good in the beginning, but they had a reputation for just not being able to pull it out. And the Rams, the St. Louis Rams, who they were playing, previously won a Super Bowl. They had 5 Hall of Famers on their team, so they were ready, and they were positioned to really destroy the Saints. The Saints did really have a lot of hope against this team. So they kept coming back and coming back, and it was getting close. And then one of the key players, his name was Azer Hakim, fumbled the ball on the 10-yard line, and the Rams could not get those 4 points. So it wound up being 28-31 Saints, and this was the last few minutes of the game, and thus the Saints won their first playoff game. And thereafter, like all teams, they struggled a little bit, but then they went on to win a Super Bowl. So that's the story of how the curse of the Saints may have been broken by a Voodoo Priestess, Mary, and possibly Saint Expedite. So let me know what you think. I don't know of any other place but New Orleans where the city would employ people to do magic and other types of spiritual interventions in order to make a football team win. But New Orleans takes football seriously. Okay, well, again, let me know what you think. Please subscribe and like. I'll leave a couple links at the bottom, and I will see you in a future video. Thanks a lot.